Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking the massive complex architecture of the new digital economy and translating it into an actual, actionable blueprint for survival. If you've been feeling like the ground beneath your professional life has just completely shifted recently, well, you aren't alone, and you certainly aren't imagining it. Just think about the conversations you're having at work right now. The constant push to adopt new software, the pressure to make faster decisions, the blurring lines between our physical and virtual workspaces. We are living right in the middle of a massive, forceful transition. The old playbooks, they've completely been thrown out the window. What we're dealing with today is fundamentally different from anything we've experienced before.
And to hook you right away, consider this staggering statistic from our source material. The paralyzing impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic forced 10 years of digital transformation into just 10 months. Let that really sink in for a second. A full decade of technological adoption squeezed into less than a single year. Did your organization feel that whiplash? Because it absolutely rewrote the rules of engagement for literally every industry on the planet.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The new digital backbone. 2. The pandemic catalyst. 3. Rise of the tech giants. 4. Pillars of digital culture. And 5. The digital fluency advantage. Let's dive right in.
Part 1. The new digital backbone.
According to the World Bank, the digital economy is defined as a social, economic, and cultural system of exchanges and relations leveraging digital infrastructure and communication technologies. Now, why does that specific distinction matter to us? Well, for years, companies kind of thought they were participating in the digital economy just because they had, say, a basic e-commerce checkout page or an online catalog. But honestly, that is legacy thinking. Today, the digital economy is a fully interconnected cultural and economic system. It's the difference between a storefront that occasionally takes online orders and a business that uses real-time digital systems to connect its entire supply chain, automate its inventory, and directly shape its internal company culture. Technology is now at the absolute heart of how we exchange value.
And the actual backbone of this new reality is built on a few critical technologies. Now, these aren't just buzzwords. They're the interconnected pillars shaping our markets. Let's break them down real quick. First, we have Web 3.0, representing the next generation of the internet, heavily focused on decentralization, basically putting data control back into the hands of users rather than a few massive corporations. Then there's the Metaverse, creating these immersive virtual environments where people can collaborate in 3D, entirely changing how remote work functions. Digital twins are fascinating. They are exact virtual replicas of physical assets, like a jet engine or a factory, allowing companies to run countless simulations before spending a dime in the real world. Then you've got the Internet of Things, or IoT, connecting everyday business devices and sensors to the internet, creating constant streams of data. And finally, artificial intelligence, which is the engine analyzing all that data to automate tasks and predict trends. Together, it's like a giant puzzle coming together to provide unprecedented insight.
Part 2. The pandemic catalyst. The year 2020 became a historic, unavoidable landmark. Think back to those early months. The world fundamentally stopped. Offices shuttered overnight. Supply chains that relied on paper manifests and physical handoffs instantly broken. It was absolute chaos, as businesses scrambled to figure out how to operate when physical systems were completely paralyzed. Suddenly, switching to efficient online tools wasn't just some convenient upgrade pitched by the IT department, it literally became the only way to survive the month. Teams were deploying enterprise-level communication tools over a single weekend. Global shipping logistics had to be digitized instantly just to track delayed cargo. This created a massive, desperate surge in the adoption of digital tools, simply to keep supply chains running, employees connected, and businesses afloat amidst all that turmoil.
Part 3. Rise of the tech giants.
The pandemic aggressively rewarded companies that were already digitally fluent. When we look at the revenue surge from the first 9 months of 2020 compared to 2019, the numbers are incredible. Amazon was up 35%, Facebook up 17%, and Microsoft up 13%. These frontrunners didn't just survive, they leveraged their existing technological readiness to get exponentially stronger. But why did they win so decisively? Well, because they had the digital infrastructure already in place. Amazon didn't have to build a digital supply chain from scratch. They just had to scale up their servers. Microsoft already had cloud computing architecture ready to deploy to millions of newly remote workers. They had already put in the capital and cultural buy-in, allowing them to instantly capture that massive influx of online economic activity. Because of this, a really harsh dividing line emerged instantly across the global economy. On one side, we had the thrivers. These were businesses that used the moment to seize digital tools, innovate new revenue streams, and develop vibrant new markets. Think of local restaurants that rapidly pivoted to proprietary ordering apps or fitness instructors launching global virtual subscription models. On the other side were the laggards. These late adopters lacked the digital know-how and vision. Imagine a traditional regional bank entirely reliant on physical paperwork and face-to-face meetings. When the world shut down, they couldn't process loans or even communicate securely with their own staff. This lack of preparation left them severely exposed to disruption and, in many heartbreaking cases, total obsolescence.
Part 4. Pillars of Digital Culture. So, we know the challenge. What's the solution? It brings us right to the core of survival, deliberately adopting a digital culture within your own organization. Based on studies by the World Economic Forum, there are 5 actionable pillars to build this foundation. First, you must be collaborative. This doesn't just mean using a chat app. It means breaking down silos so remote teams can seamlessly share resources. Second, you must be data-driven. Move beyond gut feelings and empower management to make decisions based on real-time analytics. Third, you need to be deeply customer-centric. Your digital tools should actively reduce friction for the user. Fourth, remain continually innovative. A true digital culture embraces experimentation and doesn't punish fast educational failures. And finally, you must be purposeful and sustainable, ensuring your technology serves a broader, responsible goal.
The source points out something really fascinating here. It says, digital culture helps organizations integrate environmental, social, and governance commitments and action across the organization. Let's connect that to our reality right now. Modern consumers, and talented employees for that matter, deeply care about the ethical and environmental footprint of where they spend their money and their time. A digital culture makes tracking these commitments entirely transparent. When you have smart sensors monitoring energy use, you aren't just guessing about your environmental impact, you're measuring it in real time. It's not just about installing new software, it's about empowering an enthusiastic workforce that embraces data to drive a measurable, purposeful impact on society.
Part 5. The Digital Fluency Advantage.
Now, if you still need convincing that culture impacts the bottom line, the data makes it crystal clear. Having a strong digital culture completely transforms the way people work. Digitally fluent companies hold a massive 69% lead in being considered a great place to work. And why is that? Because nobody likes battling outdated, clunky software. Giving people intuitive, modern tools empowers them to focus on meaningful work. Add to that a 68% lead in customer satisfaction, a 62% lead in innovation, and a 61% lead in operational efficiency. Digitally fluent organizations are simply blowing past the competition across every single vital metric.
But the absolute most striking bottom line is this. According to global studies, digitally fluent companies are 2.7 times more likely to have experienced high revenue growth over the past 3 years. That means seeing growth of over 20% purely by leveraging a modernized, digital-first culture.
Even more incredibly, they're a staggering 5.4 times more likely to still be projecting that massive, high revenue growth over the next 3 years. This isn't just some temporary pandemic bump we're talking about. This is the very definition of a compounding competitive advantage. In the digital economy, success breeds success. When you have the data and the technological infrastructure, every new innovation becomes easier to adopt. You attract top talent, which builds better products, which attracts more customers. Conversely, the gap between the thrivers and the laggards is widening exponentially every single quarter.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought to ponder today. Is your culture truly ready for the digital economy? Think about your personal accountability here. Are you actively building a thriving, digitally fluent foundation? Are you simply waiting to be disrupted by a competitor who is? What specific pillar from today's explainer, whether it's becoming more data-driven or highly collaborative, can you personally start implementing in your own workflow tomorrow morning? The transition is already here, and the data shows exactly what it takes to win. Thanks for joining me, and I highly encourage you to take that first step towards digital fluency this week.